Welcome back, guys. So this week we've flown out to Kos for a bit of winter sun.
And we're at Blue Lagoon Resort, where we're going to take you for a guided tour of the hotel. You're watching Prize on Tour, and here's what's coming up.
So now you know where we are. We've already spent a full week here, and this is the perfect time to give our honest review of what we actually think of Blue Lagoon Resort.
When we arrived at reception, it was a nice warm welcoming, and we got checked in pretty much straight away. We was given these wristbands to basically say that we was all inclusive all week, to gain access to all areas and all the buffets and restaurants.
One thing what did surprise at reception is we actually got to pay £70 or €70 in taxes, and it's something you have to do when you come to the Greek islands. So it's €10 per night.
It is, yeah.
So we did arrive at a really good time. We arrived at 3:15, and I say this because check-in is 3 o'clock onwards. So we did find there's quite a few other guests loitering around what had got there earlier, and they basically didn't know what to do with this hands. So we was lucky, we got straight away, checked in, and then from there we had to go wait outside because guess what? You get taken to your room by a golf cart. How cool is that?
So these golf carts as well, they were around all of our holiday, and basically they would take you, as long as you was at a bus shelter ready to get on the golf cart, they would take you to different locations as and when required.
Which I thought was a great thumbs up for me as well, because some of the walks can be quite a long walk from, especially where our room was located. We was at the bottom of the resort, and to get to like the water park, that was right at the top, so it could be a good 15-minute walk. So it's ideal, especially if your mobility is not brilliant. Just jump on one of these, hop on, and all the way up.
Yeah.
And the way it is when you're on holiday, you tend to get lazier and lazier.
You really do.
So we started using it a lot towards the end.
And which is great as well. So even if they are en route, you can flag them down as well and just jump on.
That's a top tip, that one, 'cause we did that quite a few times. So the actual resort itself is huge, and it really is a big complex. I mean, our room was 9,114, so that just shows you how big a complex it really is.
So dotted around was several pools, and I mean several pools. There was kids pools, there was adults only pools, there were just general smaller pools, and then you had the large pool, and obviously the water park as well to go on top of that.
So the main pool is huge. There's sunbeds all the way around. There's a bar up there, so you can just keep on getting your drinks any time of the day, which is a massive plus for us. You can also get crepes, they're freshly made in front of you, and you can either have your sugar, your chocolate, or cinnamon on them, which Joshua loved this all the way through the holiday. At the main pool was also entertainment going on all the way through the day, and some nice music you could listen to while relaxing back in your sunbed, taking in the sun.
So there were pools dotted all over the resort, and it did range from babies to adults. They really did cater for everyone.
And some of these pools, we'll just show you a few clips of them, so you'll see the little slides what go into them, and there's quite a few different ones of these where the slides are just going into the pool, and these are ideal for toddlers into small infants. And then we're going to hit on to the big one, the water park.
That was really cool, and it was so much fun, wasn't it? So as you entered the water park, this is where Joshua's eyes really did light up.
And as you enter the water park, to the right hand side is where you can get all your drinks, beers, cokes, slush puppies, served all day long, and we couldn't fault that. And then the next bit along was where you got your dinner, and it was a bit of a fast food outlet. You got hot dogs, you got burgers, you got fries, and you know what? Massive thumbs up from us. That's all we wanted when we sat around the pool all day. And then the next stall along again was where you could pick up your crepes. Again, same as the pool, you could have sugar, chocolate, cinnamon on them, and you could also get ice creams from this one as well. And I highly recommend the mixed ice creams from this one.
So the water park itself was separated into 3 different zones. So one of the zones was for, I'd say, toddlers and upwards to about 12, where you had the bucket that filled up completely with water, and then as it filled up, you guessed it, it's smashed down with all the water spilling out. It did have a couple of slides to it as well.
This zone also included a lazy river which stretched all the way around it. The only negative for us on this is there wasn't enough rings for the amount of people what wanted to go down the lazy river.
This brings us on to the middle zone. Now this was mainly for toddlers. It had some light water features. So it had the snake, it had the massive palm tree, all squirting water, but the water was very, very shallow.
Yeah, it was very shallow, probably only about 30 centimetres, 40 centimetres. So ideal for any young children who want to have a paddle around, knowing they're safe doing it as well.
Which then brings us on to the third zone of the water park.
And I have to say, this bit was my favourite bit of the full resort. Me and Joshua spent hours going up and going down these slides one by one. We had loads of races going down. The yellow one was definitely Joshua's favourite. And my personal favourite has to be the orange one because you got some real speed when you went down there, and I'm a real adrenaline junkie for that kind of thing. So that was a massive thumbs up for me. But here's what I had to say about it. So there's 4 different types of fluids. You've got the green, you've got the yellow, and then you've got the 2 fast ones, which consist of the orange and the blue ones. But for me, they're all amazing. Yes! So there was a lot of sun lounges in the aqua park area, but a disadvantage for us of this is the parasols was a fixed permanent structure, so it also cast a lot of shade, which for some people is great. If you want a bit of shade, perfect. But if you want to get out in the sun, especially in October because the temperature has come down a bit, you ideally want to be in the sun. So we struggle to find the areas where you can actually get out in the sun and do a bit of sunbathing.
So the aqua park was open 10 till 5 and we had loads of fun here. So the only other negative for me, I'd have to say, was how cold the pools were in the aqua park. They were freezing.
And this wasn't just for the aqua park, this was for the main pools as well, and all the other pools in the hotel resort. And looking at some of the Trustpilot reviews, there's quite a few other people what said the same things, the pools are cold. You do get used to it after a while, but it's probably one of the coldest pools I've been to while coming abroad.
So as we left the water park, there was several activities in all different courts ready for you to play. So there was the football, there was the tennis, there was the basketball, and there was even the volleyball. Which
we loved the volleyball. We spent quite a bit of time down there just playing, and Joshua absolutely loved the volleyball, but it's just great that you can just go in at any time you want to, provided you take your own ball, you can have a play in there, and happy days.
Although we wasn't very good.
Speak for yourself.
They also had the crazy golf course down there as well.
Which looked pretty bog standard to be fair, but if you want to get out and have a game of crazy golf, it was fine for that. There was also the Chinese restaurant, that end of the resort as well, which has had mixed reviews from what we read on Trustpilot, but it's not something we actually tried out, so we can't really comment on that one.
So as you leave the aqua park, you do arrive at the mini mart, and it is quite expensive.
Quite? It's a bloody rip-off. And there's no price on anything, so when you get there, it's a guessing game how much anything's going to cost you.
It really is.
I'd give you a top tip on that one. Head down the road and there's a supermarket near the beach, and everything's a bit more reasonable in there.
Which brings us nicely on to the food, and there is quite a selection in the resort of what you can have. So there is 2 main restaurants, which is buffet style, and you can get whatever you want really from them.
And we headed to one of them earlier today.
So this is one of the two main restaurants in the hotel resort. So these are a buffet style restaurant, whereas the other three, Italian, Greek and Oriental, you do have to make reservations for and book.
So if you're interested in what the food looks like, let's take you for a walk. Even got some mussels tonight. Posh like that.
So I'd say the food is very
Average.
average, yeah. So it isn't 5-star, it is more 3-star for your food, but they do have a varied selection of choice.
And some people might actually love the food, but for us, when we go to Greece, we expect some nice seafood, and the only seafood we saw was some mussels, and even the chicken. It wasn't any good bits of chicken, it was basically a chicken leg, chicken wings, but as a whole, it was fine, but it wasn't gourmet or anything like that. It was just literally what you'd expect from a 4-star hotel, all-inclusive.
Definitely, it is what you'd expect.
But again, you might love it as well. Although, the breakfast I actually thought was bang on.
Which brings us on to the resort itself, and for me, it did just lack a few bits of quieter areas or zones away from the crowds of people.
It did, because it was looked everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the worst thing is for me, it had a massive arcade here, didn't it? Anyone want to see that when they come to Greece? One thing what's very apparent about the resort is they absolutely love the cats. There's these little cat stations everywhere, and they even have certain feeding times for the cats while you're here. So if you're a big cat lover, you're going to love it here. So there is a big outdoor shelter, and they do all sorts of activities here. We've seen yoga in here. There's like kids activities on here as well. But yeah, it's just a nice social gathering area to do any activities, what they've got on the day. So it did have a big entertainment tent with various acts going all the way through the week.
So this really consisted of the children's club ranging from 7 till 9, which was a disco, which was a free-for-all, if you like. From then 9 till 11, it had various other entertainment for the adults.
But for me, it was just all a bit too cheesy in this entertainment tent, and it wasn't for us, if I'm honest with you. It's something we went in once and we didn't return to. One disadvantage of this resort as well, it isn't actually close to anywhere. And when I say close, there's nothing within a 5-minute perimeter of it. We did walk all the way to Cosstown, didn't we?
We did.
But again, it's quite a walk, and it took us about 40 minutes to walk up there. But if anyone's coming and opened shops and other kind of restaurants around it, there's nothing like that. You've got one supermarket near the beach, and that's pretty much all you've got in the local area to the resort.
Can I just say though, the taxi firms to and from the resort to Cosstown was really good, and it was around 9 to 10 euros each way, wasn't it?
Which reception actually booked them for us, which was really helpful and a massive plus for the hotel and how helpful they can be.
Yeah.
So when we booked it, we also expected the beach to actually be part of the resort. So to get to the beach, you have to walk at the side of the hotel, and then you have to go across a main busy road. So just be cautious if you've got small children with you crossing that road.
So the beach itself was a nice sandy beach, but the closer you got to the sea, it did get more pebbly. However, the further you went out in the sea, it did turn to sand again. But it had a great pontoon there where it was such good fun moving with the waves and on the pontoon. It was great fun.
So it is just getting to dusk and we're just going to show you what the beach looks like in the evening. Wait, look how pretty it is.
Okay, let's do this here. Go on Tuesday on here.
What's tomorrow?
That's good. Look at that way.
So we've just come down to the beach to show you guys what it looks like down here in an evening. And you know what? It's breathtaking. It's absolutely stunning. It takes on a completely new vibe in the evening. So well recommend coming down to the beach. You know what? This isn't a hotel thing, this is just a cost thing on the beaches. It really is a stunning place to be out at sunset. Look at it. The only con on this beach though, is it is part of the hotel beach, but you have to actually pay for the sunbeds, which is a cost of €10 per sunbed.
Go! 3, 2, 1, go!
No!
So we're just on our way back to the hotel from the beach, and it is a main road in front of the hotel to get to the beach, so that is just one thing just to be aware of, that it can be quite busy with traffic.
The resort is also lit up really well in the evening, and it's really nice to walk around everywhere lit up, and it looks really pretty as you walk through it on your way to the bars or to your next meal.
Or if you are starting to feel a bit lazy, you can flag down that golf cart lift.
Which is what we did most evenings as we headed up to the piano bar, which we ended up having a few beers there before coming back to our room.
I would well recommend the piano bar for its laid back atmosphere, the cocktails, the beers, and for its general ambience of the night.
Although one negative for me is there's only actually one beer, and it is quite a gassy beer, although I could just be complaining here for nothing, because it was alright, wasn't it?
It was okay, it was average, yeah.
And the cocktails again, they did make them up, but they're not like anything special on them when they made them up.
They are very basic cocktails, yeah.
When you were at the bars, you was never waiting, which is a massive plus for the hotel. As soon as you wanted a drink, up there, beer, and back to your table. And a lot of the time, they did table service for you. So that's a massive pro for me when we was at the bars.
Another pro for me was the staff, and even the maids coming in to make your beds or tidy the room. They were so friendly, so polite, and really welcoming.
They couldn't do enough for you when you was here. So something, again, a massive plus for the place is how friendly all the staff were in the time we spent here.
Definitely.
So the room is keycard entry, which does slot into there. You come into the room, you've got 2 single beds, bit of storage. You've got your main wardrobe area with loads of storage in there, a TV and bins. You've then got your double bedroom, good sized bed. You've got a phone in here, storage in here, big window. You've got a mirror, TV, complimentary kettle with coffee, tea, sugar, and there's also a hairdryer in here as well. You've got a nice balcony, but unfortunately, our view wasn't the best. As you can see, there's 3 chairs out here and a small table. The next pro for me was how good the pools were, and it was pretty spectacular, to be honest with you. You had your adults pools, you had your kids pools, you had the main pool in the middle of the resort, and then you had the aqua park as well, which we spent hours down in the aqua park playing on the slides, going around all the little areas, lazy river. So that was a massive pro for us. But as much as that's a pro, it was also a bit of a con for us because of how cold the pools actually were. I mean, they've got to be one of the coldest pools I've ever been in. There was bloody freezing. But again, once you get over the temperature drop, there were loads of fun, but they are very cold, especially if you've got young children.
And all I can say about the hotel's policy on not to reserve sunbeds, it's going down a treat.
And the final con for me in this hotel is it don't feel like you're in Greece for 1 minute. You could be anywhere in the world. There's nothing giving you that kind of culture or atmosphere of Greece. It really is a little bit bland in that sense. It doesn't actually let you know or has any identity to what country you're in.
So we're going to wrap it up there, and that's our review from the Blue Lagoon Resort.
And is it actually worthy of its 4 stars Tui's giving it? We actually think it is, to be honest with you. There's a few tweaks here and there what it actually needs to get up to a 5-star, but it's a solid 4-star hotel. It's got everything you need. There is a few bits we did dislike, but that's to be expected with every hotel. Yeah. And again, that's personal preference to each and every person as well. So we've had a great time here, and like we say, we're wrapping it up. We've agreed with TUI on its 4-star, and again, we paid just £1,300 for this holiday, which is a massive thumbs up for us, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So as always, thank you so much for watching.
And next week, you'll join us as we head off into Cost Town. So hopefully you can join us there. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you ever so much for watching.
And remember, there's only one last thing left to say.
Live your best life.